Hare Krishna, everyone. Greetings. Is it warm enough for you? Not warm enough?
It's cool.
It's cool. Oh, look. Whoa. Some electrical mercy is coming. That's good for me, but I don't know if it helps anyone else. Okay. Okay. So, what's our topic? Krishna Lila. The yoga, the art of play. So this this specifying yoga, it's important because that's what we're about, isn't it? We're about yoga, connecting with the Lord. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 6th chapter, Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahita shitoshna shukadukeshu tata mana apamanayo. One who has conquered oneself, Jita Atmana, Prashanta, is peaceful. Because, why? Paramatma Samahita. That person has become connected to Paramatma. There's Atma, there's Paramatma. And there's a relationship between them. And that relationship is established in bhakti. This morning we were reading some of the verses of first Bhishma Dev, one prayer, and then we jumped to the 10th canto to description by Shukadev Goswami of what the gopis were doing when they could not find Krishna in the forests. And what were they doing? They were imitating. And by this imitating of Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, they were remembering Krishna, and they were enacting, and we can say they were reenacting. And by this reenacting, they were connecting with Krishna. Even though he was apparently absent, he was actually with them as themselves. Was Paramatma present? Well, we wouldn't want to say that Paramatma was absent. In fact, Uddhava's lesson, when he goes to meet the gopis, when he goes to meet the Brajavasis, to deliver a message, his message is a very philosophical message that the Lord is present. He's already here. Of course, the gopis were not so impressed with that message. because they were not interested in abstractions. Right? They were not interested in abstract philosophy. They wanted Krishna himself. And so they had Krishna himself. As Bhishmadev says, Krishna gave he gave the gopis all of his qualities in full. And a distinction is made because we wonder why is Bhishma speaking about the gopis all of a sudden when he was praying to Krishna and was speaking about Arjuna and Krishna's relationship, and then suddenly he's talking about the gopis? What? It's because he wants to say, yes, the relation of Krishna and Arjuna is very wonderful, and there's another relationship that is even more wonderful. And that is Krishna and his beloveds in Vrindavan. And so Bhishma is hinting in that verse to what, not only that relationship, but how perfect it is, because Krishna has given them something which he does not give to Arjuna. With Arjuna there's still some formality. Karpanya dosho pahita sabhava, etc. Prichami tam dharma samuda cheta yat shreyascha nischitam yat shreyasyam nischitam bruhitam me shishyaste aham shadimam tam prapannam. Now I am surrendered to you. So he has to sort of formally announce, I'm now surrendered to you. The gopis didn't have to do that. And he says, now I'm your student, shishyaste aham. And so there's a student-teacher relationship which has, it has certain, we can say, boundaries. There's some boundaries. The teacher is always the teacher and the student is always the student. But when it's with Krishna and the gopis, all the distinctions kind of melt away because, and so they feel, it's described, I think it's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, all inhibitions are gone, and they're on an equal level, absolute equal in quality relation. And in that condition, then Bhishmadev hints that the gopis are remembering Krishna by enacting, by imitating. What was the Sanskrit? Kritam anukrita bhaktya unmadanda. They had gone mad in ecstasy in the act of copying the movements of Krishna. So nice. We have some projects going. For those of you who have been here yesterday, and we have some projects of creating dramas, short dramas. For those of you who have not been here, And we want to continue working on those. It's a little bit of a challenge for two reasons. One, it's pretty hot. And the other reason is because it's the Hare Krishna movement, which means here today, gone tomorrow, different times, different places. Some maybe want to be here, but don't know that we started at this time instead of another time. So, but we're here, right? And we can do something together. But before you get into that, I want to beg your indulgence as I share with you, if I can find it, something that I wrote some months ago. We had, let me think now, where am I going to find this? No, not there. Don't even remember the name of it. I wrote a little dialogue. Miscellaneous. Let's see. Okay, not there. I hope I can find this. We had a retreat in Govardhan this last February. Who was there? Just a couple of, 3, 4. Yes. I was there too. The next 5. And I asked all the devotees to please write something, some reflection, something, a poem, anything, write something from being in Govardhan, some kind of inspiration, reflection, whatever. So of course, I had to write something because if I didn't myself give example, that would not be good. Where did I put it? You know this trouble when you have a computer and you have zillions of files? You know this?
I want to help.
You want to help?
Which app you use for writing down?
Which app?
Yes. I guess Word.
Yeah.
Open Word and go into the start or a circle, and then you will find recent documents.
Yeah, but this was not that recent.
At least you will know where your Word saves the documents. The date, maybe.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Recent documents. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I think it might do better if I search.
Yeah, by content maybe.
I know, Dave. Govardhan retreats. Here it is. Okay, this is, oops. Okay, will you indulge me that I can read something that I wrote? This is called Ellie and her father go on Govardhan Parikrama. Adrian Nicolai from Romania is a visiting professor of sociology at Ksetra University, north of New Delhi. Elena, is Adrian's daughter, soon to be 23 years old, studying ancient Indian history, culture, and archaeology at the same university. Both Ellie and Adrian have physical disabilities. From early childhood, Adrian has had eye trouble and is now 85% blind. And Ellie is immobile due to a motorbike accident, confined to her wheelchair. Since Adrian's wife, Ellie's mother, unexpectedly died of a heart condition 8 months ago, life has been very emotionally strained and practically difficult for both father and daughter. It is early February 2023, and Ellie's birthday is approaching. Adrian wants to do something special for Ellie to celebrate and also to reconnect with her after her mother's death. One evening, recently, they watched, that is, Adrian was hearing the audio, they heard a documentary about how Vrindavan and Greater Braja are rapidly changing in the 21st century. One scene showed streams of joyous-looking people doing parikrama around Govardhan Hill. Adrian, Ellie, let's you and I go together to Govardhan. We can go around the hill like all these people do. For sure, it will be a memorable experience. Ellie, but Dad, how will we manage? I can't walk and you can't see. Adrian, we'll get Joshi to be our guide. He'll push your wheelchair and I can follow along walking behind you. I'm still fit. Ellie, but Dad, they said in the documentary that one complete parikrama is 23 kilometers and one is supposed to walk the whole way barefoot. Adrian, 23 kilometers, 1 kilometer for each year of your life. Anyway, don't worry. For my part, I'll manage, and with Joshi's help, we can make it. We don't have to hurry. We can rest along the way, and anyway, no one says we have to go all the way around. Or, we can do it over 2 or 3 days, staying in a guest house overnight. And didn't they show in the documentary that there are electric rickshaws always available if we need one? And so their adventure began. Joshi, a family friend and native of Ksetra, is all too pleased to join the excursion. He's a jolly, talkative fellow, and he happens to know Govardhan quite well, as his grandmother lived in Govardhan town. Joshi, we can start our parikram where most people begin, in Govardhan town, on the road heading south. It's crowded, as many initiate their trek with obeisances at this particular place. Well, Ellie, you can make obeisance in your mind. This counts just as well. When they arrive at the place to begin their parikrama, Eli says, "Now help me down. I want to do this the right way by making proper obeisance to Govardhan." Initially hesitating, but well built and strong, Joshi carefully helps her out of the wheelchair and onto the pavement before the earthen pathway begins. Other pilgrims nod and smile approvingly as they see Eli conscientiously offering obeisance despite her physical difficulties. Photo! Without waiting for permission, two teenage girls in jeans and bright red lipstick position themselves left and right of the three, gleefully waving over a young banana vendor to snap their photo as a group. Giggling and saying thank you, they hasten forth into the crowd on their own parikrama, not looking back. Adrian, the sociologist, muses. They don't know us, and we don't know them. Yet now we've been made frozen in time together by a phone camera device, probably made in China. For sure they will share our white, nameless faces with their friends. We will probably never see them again. Such are the shifting, superficial human interactions of modern times. Or, should I say, postmodern times. Well, says Eli, here at Govardhan there could also be some shifting and interesting human, non-human, animal interactions, especially with these monkeys. She describes to her father the wily monkeys she sees scampering along the top of the very modest-sized red rocky outcropping of Govardhan. Speaking of which, pipes up Joshi, here at Govardhan it's good to remember Hanuman, the semi-divine monkey servant of Lord Rama. They say that one explanation of Govardhan being here, where it or he now stands, is that ages ago Hanuman carried him here from up north on his way to South India to help Rama build his bridge to Lanka. Eli. So then that means Govardhan has been lifted up twice. First by Hanuman and later by Krishna. A young Hercules-type cowherd boy who is revered as none other than Bhagavan, the Supreme Being. That's kind of the main story, isn't it? Joshi chuckles. Yes, for sure. Back then, it was news all over the universe, making all the headlines. Cowherd boy, age 7, lives till heaven's king humbled. Krishna's devotees celebrate Krishna's lifting Govardhan and holding the hill aloft for 7 days and nights, balancing it on his left hand, or, they also say, on his left pinky finger. It was his clever and elegant way of teaching a lesson to the too proud storm god Indra. Eli also chuckles. Left pinky finger, I love that. Anyone claiming to be God should be able to pass the 7-day and night holding up Govardhan with left pinky finger test. Adrian skeptically says, I suppose that to get the full benefit of this parikrama, we should have faith that this lifting business really happens. Eli says, Dad, don't worry about it. They say that by circumambulating Govardhan, our consciousness, our deepest awareness of reality gets purified. And then we can understand, we can realize how everything is possible for Krishna. Bhagavan is by definition all-powerful. So, if Krishna is Bhagavan, Adrian, purified consciousness, an interesting concept. Joshi, my grandmother was deeply convinced that Krishna indeed lifted Govardhan Hill. As kids, she had us spellbound as she would paint this incredible picture with words. A picture of Krishna's wonderful, loving character that he would display so artfully to the complete fascination of the Vrajavasis, the residents of Vraja. As she, my grandmother, described the scene, we, my big sister and I, and neighborhood kids, felt as if we were part of the event, as if Krishna was right there in front of us, as if we could reach out and touch him. Eli, times have changed, haven't they, Joshiji? Nowadays, who listens to their grandmothers? Everyone is listening to the TV and internet. Well, come to think of it, it was a TV documentary that inspired us to come here. And yet, probably more people come here to do Govardhan Parikrama than at any previous time in history. Right, Joshi? Joshi, for sure. But I was going to say about my grandmother, it wasn't just us kids enthralled by a charming grandmotherly storyteller. No. Once, I witnessed her give a stiff, verbal, shastric thrashing to a whole room full of dumbfounded pundits. She was deeply learned in our scriptures. Thrashing, you know the word? Adrian, I would like to have been there to witness her silencing the proud pundits. As they continue along the earthen pathway that parallels Govardhan, they see by the side one wiry, balding and bearded sadhu sitting on a blanket reading a book aloud to himself. Joshi asks him in Hindi what he's reading. The man smiles, gesturing for Joshi and Adrian to sit with him on the blanket and for Ellie to sit facing them on her wheelchair. I'm reading Indra's prayers to Krishna when he begs forgiveness for his terrible misbehavior in response to Krishna's inciting the Vrajavasis to worship Govardhan instead of worshipping him. He recites a Sanskrit verse, translates it into Hindi, then Joshi translates the Hindi into English for Ellie and Adrian. Quote, this is from 10th Canto Bhagavatam, 27th chapter, verse 11 and 13. Unto him who assumes transcendental bodies according to the desires of his devotees, unto him whose form is itself pure consciousness, unto him who is everything, who is the seed of everything, and who is the soul of all creatures, I offer my obeisance. O Lord, you have shown mercy to me by shattering my false pride and defeating my attempt to punish Vrindavan, To you, the Supreme Lord, Spiritual Master, and Supreme Soul, I have now come for shelter. Adrian. So this King of Heaven, what was his name? Joshi. Indra. He's known to be extremely powerful, sometimes showing his power in the form of fierce thunderstorms. Adrian. So Indra was humbled by Krishna when Krishna lifted his Govardhan hill. But if he, Krishna, is more powerful than Indra, why didn't he just prevent Indra's rainstorm from the start? Joshi relates the question in Hindi to the sadhu, whose reply Joshi translates into English. This is the sadhu, he says, that's partly explained by this verse. Krishna assumes transcendental bodies according to the desires of his devotees. His devotees, the Brajavasis, wanted above all to see Krishna's wonderful form and to enable them to do so without interruption. Enable them to do so without interruption. Krishna lifted Govardhan and became like a motionless deity for 7 days and nights. Simultaneously, by making Govardhan into a giant temple-like umbrella, he shattered Indra's false pride. Eli emits a long sigh. Lucky Brajavasis. Adrian. Lucky Indra. Eli. Lucky Indra? What do you mean, Dad? Adrian. Well, even though he made such a big offense against Krishna and the Brajavasis, in the end he could meet Krishna and speak with him directly. Joshi, laughing. Now you're sounding like a Krishna Bhakta, a devotee of Krishna. He explains in Hindi to the sadhu what Eli and Adrian are saying, and the sadhu laughs. And then he speaks energetically. Joshi translates, he says that actually you both are devotees of Krishna, otherwise you would not be here at Govardhan. The sadhu smiles and makes a gesture of blessing with his right hand. Joshi, he is blessing us. We can take it as a direct blessing from Govardhan. Adrian and Eli fold their hands in respect and gratitude, and Adrian places some rupee notes in the sadhu's begging bowl before they stand up to proceed on their journey. By this time, the early morning fog has lifted. Adrian, I'm starting to like this. Eli, like what, Dad? Adrian, this walking around this hill. What do you call it? Parikrama? Govardhan Hill. It feels special. Like I'm getting some sort of ability to see internally, even if I can hardly see externally. Maybe my consciousness is getting purified, as you say. Eli, yes, and I also feel we're in a special place, making me feel like dancing, even if I can't do so physically. So let's keep going. Joshi, please, push my wheelchair a little faster. We still have a long way to go. Dad, can you keep up? Do you want to rest? Do you want to put on your shoes? Adrian, no, I'm fine. It feels good having the sacred earth touching my feet. Let's go! Giriraj Maharaj ki jai ho! Joshi, next time we stop for a rest, please tell us how your grandmother beat the Pandits into silence with her knowledge of the scriptures. And Joshi says, for sure, it's an amazing story. Hare Krishna. It was fun to write. I don't know if it was fun to listen to.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah. Huh? Audio. Oh, that's an interesting one.
What he said, it was like a movie. You can see it. Yes.
Audio. Okay. Yeah, so, time is going by, so I don't want to take more time. Where are our groups? We had a group here, and we had another group there, and we had another group here. You have a group over here. Those of you who are not members of these groups from yesterday, maybe you can sneak into one of them. What are we doing? We're planning little skits, and I realized I think we're going to have to do them already tomorrow. I was thinking Sunday, but it was mentioned to me some devotees are leaving on Sunday. So then we want to come up with something. And what we're doing is Krishna Lila in Vrindavan, mainly Krishna's with his opponents or demons who are embodiments, we can say, of the various anarthas. So we have this group, you're working on Agatsura, yes? And do we have, what else do we have? Who else do we have? Kalia and Ananda Vrindavan, you have your group. You're working on you're with the Kalia group. Okay. Yeah, this is part of the challenge of the Hare Krishna movement. Everything coming, going, changing who's there. Do we have any other groups here? You're a group. Okay. Sudarshan? Oh, okay. Snake swallowing Nanda. Okay. So, we want to come up with something substantial for tomorrow, right? If you need more time, then I think we have a lot of time now, actually, until lunch. So you can sort of come up with whatever you come up with. And here's one tip that I didn't mention yesterday. This is something they teach in improvisation theater. Improvisation, we talked about improvisation. So improvisation, one sort of technique in improvisation theater is one person says something, makes a statement. It's hot today. and the other person says, yes, and that means, and then says something else. You know about this? And then they go back, and each one says, yes, and that means, yes, and that means, so it's always positive, and it always means something. And it's sort of filling out more and more positive meaning. And it's just, it's a way of making something happen. Yes, and that means, so now you can think, maybe that's useful in thinking about, in applying to the lila that you're working on. Is that all right? Does that make any sense? Something. It may help, okay. So, Hare Krishna. What about Radha Govinda? You have devotees who are translating. Are they planning something? They're just planning to hear. Just hearing. Well, maybe they can hear what the others are doing. Yeah. It looks like it's become a ladies group and a gents group. That's kind of what happens, I guess. Because I'm going to kind of stop speaking now, so they could migrate over this way, I think. Is that all right? Good?